everyone. Yes, it's long time no see, or as G would sometimes say to me, Lucy, are you cooking again? No, no. It has been a nanosecond or more, but life has been happening here, and I'm going to share it all with you. Just got done with the Jingle Ball. We'll go into that in more detail. It was such a pleasurable experience. And but yeah, life has happened. One of my aunts passed away recently, and unfortunately I was not able to fly down for the service because I had some medical tests that were scheduled and needed to be done. And you know, if you get actually something scheduled, you're not giving it up. So that was that kind of put a little blip to the emotional gimbal, I guess. We used to say when I was younger in a sailboat, you know, some people would put their children or babies sleeping in a hammock on a gimbal because it just rock you to sleep. That's kind of what I felt like this last few weeks, is like I was trying to find that happy, steady medium. But anyway, it has been a busy time, as I know, for all of you, and I have gotten some stitching done. I have accumulated more stitching than I got done, which I will share with you, but it has been somewhat rainy here, and we, although sometimes we do succumb to the complaining about it, and the reality of it is why our yards and our forests are so beautiful. So I'm not going to do any complaining about it. We just kind of work around it. What else has been going on? Let's see. Oh, well, for one of the tests I had to take, I had to be pre-medicated because I'm allergic to the contrast dye. So a little bit of prednisone was in my system, which for me is like a double ADHD cocktail. And so I came back from that test, and I was out in the backyard in the freezing cold, and I winterized and pruned and threw in the yard bucket all of my backyard clippings and pushed that out to the street to be picked up. And G was standing in the doorway going, is this a combination of the prednisone and your ADHD? And I was like, yes, I'm taking advantage of it. So I did get my backyard winterized. Yeah. Which made me feel so much better, because I was looking out there going, oh man, there's so much to do. And then my friend Cheryl from Stitching with the Sisterlies called the next day, and I must have still had some residual prednisone in my system because I was talking, as I sound like right now. Yeah, so I hope you got something to drink and that you went potty, because this will be a little bit longer than the normal floss tube. I'm like a 30 to 45 minute floss tuber, but it's been a while, and so I know I'm going to probably go longer than that. I have already started, as many of you have, those of you that do celebrate the Christmas holidays, I am deep into all of the holiday movies. Last night I watched Love Actually. Yes, there's something about revisiting those old movies that bring you peace and calm in your world when you're not quite feeling so calm. And I go through the same movies every year, occasionally adding a new one. So if any of you know of one that's like on your top 10 list that was made in 2023 or 2024, just drop me a comment, because I have not been keeping up. I've been just watching the same old the same old stuff. Although there was one with Ryan Reynolds, I think it was, that I need to watch that. Yeah, it's Scrooge, I think. That was a good one from last year. I'm going to have to look that one up. I have been reading. I decided, did you notice that little pause? My brain had to, the squirrels are all going reboot. I decided that it would be good for me to actually read hardcover book, because you want to, at least I want to use my brain in a variety of different ways. And I'm a big audiobook reader. But actually reading the written word for me somehow makes those little squirrels fire in a different way. And so I've started some hardback books because I do collect them. And sometimes, I think I've admitted this before, if I love an audiobook, I go out and buy the hardback copy. Now, I know exactly why my younger son is a book collector, which makes me realize, where is that? He wrote his latest book got published. He's a gamer, and his hobby is gaming, kind of like my hobby is cross-stitch. G's hobby is woodworking and photography. Well, this kid, his hobby is gaming, and he writes books for gaming, and this was the latest one that was published. And I was on the way to Acorns and Threads when I stopped by the house. They don't live very far away from us. And he said, oh, then the latest issue came out, and gave me a copy. Of course, he didn't sign it, which I don't know how many times I have to ask that kid to sign his copy, to me at least. And I took it to Stitch Group, and one of the gals in there she loves gaming, and she knew exactly what this is all about. I just like the pretty pictures. So it was fun to see that he is still enjoying his hobby. Okay, I just been rambling, so I'm just trying to think of well, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. It's been hard. It's been hard lately for a lot of people, and the holidays seems to accentuate that. Not quite sure why, but know that I hope the best for all of you, whether you celebrate or not. I did receive some wonderful happy mail that didn't not only come in the mail. Okay, first of all, I'm going to say this isn't going to follow any format. You know, like, I wish I was one of those people that had like a table of contents where you have, okay, we're going to do whips, and we're going to do haul, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. Yeah, that's not happening. That's not happening. So right now, since I have it in front of me, I am going to share some happy mail. At the Jingle Ball. Yes, it was at the Jingle Ball. Did you see that? I had to reboot the squirrels. My friend Kimberly of Daisy Joe Stitches Designs came in and gave me a couple of charts that I liked, which were these two here. Yeah, these two here. I love these two. And she gave me a set of her latest designs to give away as a giveaway. Yeah. So if you are interested in this giveaway, please go to Daisy Joe Designs on Gumroad, and I'll put the link down below to check her out, give her some love, and just in the comments, just leave the name Daisy Joe in the comments. And I'm going to give away a set of her latest designs, which is Snow, Winter, and Love. And she actually had this one stitched up, and it was beautiful. Beautiful. So if you're interested in that, please go check her out, and then in the comments leave the name Daisy Joe. Yeah. The other blew me away Happy Meal, and oh, by the way, you know who you are. Thank you for the gift card at Acorns and Threads. I used it. Duh. But this kind of was really, and I know I've talked about this before, but it made me blast to the past. So when I was at Autumn Abundance, someone came up to me and started talking to me about a person that I hadn't thought of in years. And I was like, whoa, it was a blast to the past. And I've told you this story before, but I'm going to tell it again because at my age, I repeat myself. So back in my, let's see, 40s, late 40s, I think it was, in my 40s, I made a life list of things that I wanted to accomplish before I died. And I did think I was going to die at 50 because my dad died at 49, and everyone always told me in the family I was like him. So naturally, I thought my time was limited, and here I am buying cross-stitch like I'm going to live to 300. But on my life list, I had 40 things, and one of them was to perform on stage. I just wondered what that felt like, and I like to experience life. I love people. I just want to know what it feels like. And so on my life list, I had put down perform on stage in front of an audience. I had never done that before. And the next week, I'm telling you, the next week, in the newspaper came a call out for everyday people who wanted to be part of a musical. And I took it as a sign. I took it definitely as a sign. And so I showed up at the theater, and they were having the tryouts. Not that it was, this guy was taking anybody. I mean, he took me. But he was a Grammy award-winning composer, and he had composed with a partner this whole musical called Her Story. And his name is Roger Nichols. He wrote music for Three Dog Night, The Carpenters. I mean, he did all kinds of music. But on his, and we practiced, it was an amazing experience, truly. We did 8 performances in the theater. My family came up from out of state to watch, and it was interesting because here we were, a group of everyday people that he was turning into performers, and he was a professional, so he'd be at the back of the theater while we would be singing, and he'd go, no, 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 I need you over here to do this and you over here to do that. And it was exactly what I wanted, an experience that I had never had before. This is a long, convoluted story, so I hope you went to the bathroom. Anyway, that was 25 years ago, at least 25 years ago, and I hadn't thought of him in years. I just hadn't. And here at Autumn Abundance came someone up to me and was talking to me about him, and I was like, what? Yes, I know him. And she said, her name is Rose, she said that her husband had given her a piece of Roger's jewelry. Now, as a sideline to his composing and his Grammy life or music life, he had a hobby of making fine jewelry. And I knew it that he made sterling silver jewelry because he gave each one of the performers in the production a angel pin that he had created specifically for us. And here she was saying, my husband had given me this pin and I would like to give it to you. And I was just gobsmacked. I rarely am speechless, truly. But, so this came in the mail. There's Roger's box of jewelry. His little card there. But I was blown away. And here it's in this velvet box. Look at this. I had no idea that he had done gold jewelry. I thought all he did was sterling silver. This is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It's a rosebud. Oh, anyway, I just kind of, never am I really speechless, but when I opened this, I was speechless, and I can't thank you enough. It was so kind of you to share that, and truly the best part was I've got to revisit in my heart and my mind that period when I was brave and I went on stage and I sang my heart out. I encourage you all, no matter what age you are, make a life list. Whether you're young and you have many years in your mind ahead, or you are my age and you see the end, make a life list. The only big thing on my life list that I hadn't accomplished was I did want to be on the ski patrol up at Mount Bachelor Ski Resort, and that never happened. But in my mind, I am an Olympic skier, let me tell you. The other Happy Meal that I got was from a longtime friend, online friend, Jean, and I had to laugh because I thought, here she's sending me this, I should be doing what she's doing. So she was prepping for the Karen Brown Declutter Challenge. I need to look that up. And so when she was decluttering, she thought of me, and I wonder why she thought of me. I mean, really. it just makes you, you know, you have to think about how people view you. But she thought I would love this Prairie Schooler chart, and she is absolutely right. She also sent 2 bundles of floss, not labeled, which has opened up a possibility in my brain. In 1985, her husband gave her this chart for Christmas. She was, in 1985, she'd been married 3 years, had 2 babies, moved houses after the first child was born, and worked full time. No wonder she had put it aside. Oh. So here is the much loved Prairie Schooler Christmas wreath. I love all things Prairie Schooler. I love all things Prairie Schooler, and have found them increasingly more charming as I find pictures of the older charts. Yeah, this is going to be very fun. And then I took this and the floss to Janine at Acorns and Threads and asked her what she thought about this floss, what kind of floss it could be, because I had no idea. And she thought that this brightly colored floss probably came out of a kit, and so I have this whole bundle of floss there. And then this one is just, I mean, it's awesome colors, if you can see that. So I'm thinking that I might just go ahead and be brave, and without knowing the color, pick a floss that I want to use for a specific motif. I mean, really. Thank you so much, Jean. You made my day. And I'm going to have to look up the Karen Brown Declutter Challenge that starts January 1st, because I have I'm not even sure I want to know, but, you know, I have no idea. Okay. I bought a book, and it's so funny when the book came. G said, I like that word, and so now it's part of our vocabulary. So it's a New York Times bestseller, and it's called Wintering, The Power of Rest and Retreat in Difficult Times by Catherine May. And so now, when, like the other day, I came home from Acorns and Threads, and I said, how was your day, honey? What did you do? And he said, I was wintering. And I knew exactly what that meant. It meant that he was taking quiet time and just relaxing and doing his thing, you know? I just love that. So I'm going to be delving into this book. Sometimes you slip through the cracks. Unforeseen circumstances like an abrupt illness, the death, a life of loved ones, a breakup, or a job loss can derail your life. These periods of dislocation can be lonely and unexpected. For the author, her husband fell ill, her son stopped attending school, and her own medical issues led to her leaving a demanding job. Wintering explores how she not only endured these painful times, but embraced the singular opportunities it offered. Yep. That's a sooner than later. In fact, that's a winter book. I'm going to be wintering. As you saw at the beginning of the, if if I told G to put that picture at the beginning. It's Land That I Love by Teresa Kogut, and I made some progress on it, so I just took a picture of it because it's on a big scroll rod, an Elan frame, that's what it's on. And I told you I saw that done on 56 count. That was so, I was so tempted just to start it over, but nope, I'm going for it. I committed to that relationship. I don't give up easily. And I am enjoying it. I am enjoying it. So that's had some progress, because if someone stops by to stitch with me, it's sitting on my table here in the beehive, and so I have an opportunity to stitch on it. I also have been working on Florence Law. This is the One Red Thread project on 56 count. And that's where I am at currently. And I am in love with 56 count. Now, I know a lot of you have all kinds of reasons to not do it, and I myself parroted those same thoughts. But having been to the attic 3 times, you know, Jean Lee, it's kind of like in the air when you walk through the door. But I decided to be brave. If not now, when? And basically being legally blind in one eye, and I can't drive at night, so, you know, there is all those issues that come with it. With stitching, I have found the perfect combination of the Anita lamp, which I got from Fat Quarter Shop, and I think it has to do with the light shining directly downward, and so it really shows up your canvas, and then the magnifying glass right there also. That combination must allow me to do 56 count, because I can actually even tell when I've made a mistake, and I look at it and I go, oh, that looks like I took the thread too far, and sure enough I did. So for whatever reason, that particular lamp, my commitment to being brave in this project, and I've been enjoying its daintiness, and nothing about me has ever, no one has ever used the word dainty when they think of me. I have decided that whenever I finish a 56 count, I will start a 56 count, and I will do that until I no longer can see. Yeah, but this is just, and I do have to say, just giving a little plug here, but I don't have any affiliation. These Nerge hoops are the best. I mean, I like all of my hoops, all my things, you know, like I use a Q-snap on the Lowry stand in the bedroom. I have the Elan frame with the Land That I Love. But since I started trying out these Nerge hoops, they are amazing, and I got a pack of 4, and so it just keeps the fabric so tight, and it is so lightweight that I have been enjoying those. I'm glad I invested the money in those. Okay, next. I had, so much has gone on since we last met. So I've had 2 friends come and stay at different times. They kind of overlapped, but one was flying back east for Thanksgiving, and, well, you know, it was what it was. But I had 2 different friends come and stay. And my one girlfriend, she is a potter. Gosh, I made my face really big, huh? She is a potter. So I have tons of pottery in this house, all made by her, And I can't tell you, she's so creative and just so lovely. But look at these little snowmen that she made me. Aren't they adorable? I just can't get over them. They are the cutest. They are the cutest. And she cross-stitched this little tin, this little tart pan. And this was a great idea. I never thought about this, that she glued a piece of felt wool on the bottom so that, you know, it didn't scratch, it won't scratch up anything. But isn't that sweet? Oh, so such a fun surprise to find. Let's see, next, where am I on the designated stitch? The designated stitch, you know, was from the book Home for the Holidays, and it is Blessings Be Thine. Blessings Be Thine. And it has been moving along well. Moving along well. So here I am. I am rounding the corner. She be rounding the corner. And I do believe it will be done before Christmas. Yeah. So that made me wonder, what am I going to do for the next designated stitch? And I kind of been ruminating and ruminating. And suddenly I got a text from Janine that said our friend Ellen Reed, you know, she is Crash Test Dummies. Crash Test Dummies. Yeah. And Maximum Cross Stitch. And I decided that there was a project of hers. I thought it was this one. No, it might be another one. But I think this is a Long Dog Sampler. Oh my gosh. I need to do whoever that Karen Brown is that is, you know, declutter for 2020. But, you know, I love it all. Now, that's not it. I'm going through these bags right here. Nope, that's not it. Anyway, Crash Test Dummies, which is a rock and roll band. I guess you call them a rock and roll band. Is going to be back in Portland in 2025, February. So I already, oh yeah, here it is, because it says Crash Test Dummies. And they're going to be back in Portland for a concert, and the girls at the shop, Acorns and Threads, already have their tickets. G and I already have tickets. We are going to be, you know, we're going to be there rooting her on. But I said, in honor of this first concert of 2025, I am going to, when I finish Blessings Be Thine, the next designated stitch will be There Is Always Room. And let's see, where am I at? Oh, I mean, I'm not I'm not halfway, but I do have a border or a kind of an outline already made, and that is again this one. So this is going to be the next designated stitch in honor of Ellen coming back to Portland. This is so pretty. There is always room at my table. Yeah. Now I've made an even bigger mess looking for it. Oh well. That'll get me to organize a little bit more. So where was I? Huh. I know this afternoon they're going to have to turn the electricity off on the house because my older son's coming over to help his dad put up cameras. Kind of like those, you call them security cameras, but we're putting them up for wildlife. I just want, every so often someone in the neighborhood area posts the camera, because we live not far from, even though we're in a city, we live not far from Mount Hood and the whole forested area, and there's been some sightings of cougar, we've seen bear scat, so I just want to see the animals, and we've had these cameras and never put them up, so we're going to do that. At Acorns and Threads, they made new thread beds for Emmeline Purnell, and Crafty Cory Stitches sewed these. I love thread beds. I absolutely love thread beds. So I do believe that this thread bed will actually help my project go. And this is a stitch along with Acorns and Threads exclusive, and they do have some charts and floss and I believe fabric, but they just got these in, so if you're at all interested. Okay, deep breath, as Jackie on the comfort stitching, she does the whole meditation thing. Yeah, I just love that. Here you might need a Valium by the end of. Yeah, that's the extent of my recommendations for comfort. I'm on the Facebook D-Stash cross-stitch only page, and I never, ever get anything. I mean, by the time I see it, there's already been 5 or 6 people claiming something, and I don't even know why I belong to it, because the chances of me getting something are so rare that it's mostly just for drooling. But it so happened, I don't know why, whether the stars aligned or what, there was a post on there and no one had said anything, and so I said, oh, may I please? And it turned out that I may please have it out. And so I was sent this chart and all the silk threads that go with it. And this is the chart from Hands Across the Sea. And I don't know whether it came out of a box or what it did, but it came with all these Auversois silks. And I thought, oh, this is a good way to kind of get my silk 56 count jam on. So I lucked out on that and was really pleased. It even came with a little sticker. Yeah. So that was really fun. And then this last week, we not only had Thursday Stitch at Acorns and Threads, and the designer Franny Ritter was in the shop, and she made all these cute little gift tags and had them all packaged up and passed them out as gifts to everybody who was stitching there. It was very, very sweet of her. And look at that tiny little Mary one, is so cute. I've never, I never want to go down that paper craft. I know my friend Stitchy Witch 42, Audrey, she's a paper crafter, but oh, not me. And while I was at the shop, this Hello Santa by Teresa Kogut came in. Of course, when I looked at the chart, I said, I don't understand when this Santa here, look at his beautiful coat, absolute beautiful coat, is stitched with DMC, why it looks so beautiful like that. I mean, not that DMC isn't beautiful, but it looks variegated. And so Cheryl texted Teresa and said, what? And she said, you haven't watched my latest floss tube. Mea culpa, because she explained that the coat was done with Simply Shaker Bayberry. So I got 2 skeins of that because I'm not real creative in going outside the box. I want it to look exactly like the pattern, and I can't wait. I can't wait. So that's all ready to go someday. That's everything in here is I've got to stitch it. And there were people at the shop on Thursday Stitch who were getting their stitching done for the Jingle Ball. And I feel like my battery's going to run out. I might have to come back and talk about the Jingle Ball. So I just want to quickly say that I picked up fabric there, Cedar River Linen Maple Bar, and I love Cedar River Linen. And then fabric by Stephanie Driftwood for one of the Jingle Ball stitches, the gingerbread house. So that's the shopping I did that day. Okay, we're going to take a little break so I can charge the camera up. I do know I have been talking a lot because the battery's almost ready to die. Stay tuned. See you in a moment. Well, I'm back. I charged up the camera again. I gave you time to get a meal and a drink, and so now we're ready for part 2. Where part 1 ended, I have no memory. So let me just say that I have lots of plans for the rest of this month and into the new year, and I'm looking forward to all of those. Let's see, we left off right up until the Jingle Ball. So let's talk about the Jingle Ball. For those of you who are in the know, the Jingle Ball is a event that is planned by Stephanie Webb, and she has designers, they have a shopping mall online. Oh, and Stephanie Webb is Lindy Stitches, by the way. And you can buy kits for some of the classes, and you can pre-stitch, and then there's classes on finishing. There are rooms set up that you can go in and out of, and this is an international event, so it runs many hours, and the rooms are all titled by, just kind of fun little things. And so you can kind of go into a room and virtually, like a Zoom stitch with people from all over the place, and it's just lovely because it allows us to really connect out in our community, and our community is just, it's like a blessing to me. Stitchers are generally kind people, they're creative people, and being able to stitch virtually with people on the other side of the world is educational. It's just educational, what we're all interested in, and what motivates us, and then there's the shopping mall. So let me just tell you, that was like, oh, and all the designers that are part of it, they contribute a cross-stitch ornament to an ornament book, and that's just a must-have too. So it started on Friday, and I am lucky because where I live, I am not far from Acorns and Threads in Portland, Oregon, and they have a watch party. And what that means is there's a big screen TV, and on the big screen TV are a lot of the meet and greets and that kind of general fun stuff. Well, you all are in the same room stitching, either on your Jingle Ball projects or on whatever you want. And it's just such a wonderful place we are so blessed here in Oregon to have Acorns and Threads. I chose during the Jingle Ball to stitch on the project that Beth Twist of Heartstring Samplery, one of the kits that she put together and taught a class on finishing, and this was hers right here. It's a little tart pan, and the kit had everything to fully finish this. Although I decided that instead of making an additional step for myself, Janine at Acorns and Threads got these beautiful tart pans. I just love the color of them. And they are the perfect size for Beth's project. So I started stitching on that for the Jingle Ball. And this is where I am currently. It's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. I do have to say that my most favorite part of the Jingle Ball is what is called speed dating, whip speed dating. And what that means is at certain times throughout the event, there will be a period of time where speed dating is opened up, and you click on, when you enter, you give a sense to that program of the things you like. So I clicked that I like audiobook, I like reading, I like gardening and stitching and that kind of thing. And then they match you up. The little algorithm matches you up, and you get 5 minutes to talk to somebody one-on-one. The thing about speed dating is that, I mean, in reality, if you didn't like who you were matched up with, you were only committed to 5 minutes. Although I didn't realize until I had gone one date in that you could extend it for another 5 minutes if you were like mid-conversation, because it literally would cut you off. And sometimes you were really, in an interesting conversation. And I like that one-on-one. It, when you're in the big Zoom meeting, there's the talkers and the lurkers, and I'm kind of in the middle of all of that. But with speed dating, it's one-on-one, and so you are really building a relationship. And you not only talk to that person, but you're kind of looking in their background, like, what have they got going on back there? And so Natalie, who I spent a short period of time with, she had a crocheted blanket on there, and I was like, did you crochet that? No, her grandmother did it for all of her grandkids. It's so lovely. It's so lovely. And then on one speed dating, Tiffany was a quilter, and so we could look at each other's quilting stuff, and she was a long arm quilter. And and so I kept trying to press the extend a little bit so I could learn more from her. And then I ended up in another speed dating with a couple of sisters, and behind them was this huge full spinning rack of DMC floss. And I was like, wow, wow. So I loved everything about the Jingle Ball. I had a fabulous time. But speed dating was really fun. It was like a real fun connection to somebody without a long-term relationship. And the Zooms were great. The shopping mall was wonderful. I did some shopping. There's mail coming. So a lot of the charts were either PDF or hard chart. I'm okay with PDFs, but I like having a hard chart, so some of those things are on their way. And this was the third year for the Jingle Ball. This was the third year, and I think everyone's gonna, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Oh, and then one evening, because it's a 3-day event, one evening I was in speed dating, and I ended up with Jason, who was Stephanie's husband, and we had a short conversation about, he looked exhausted though, but we had a short conversation about a family business and children, and it was just lovely. It was a lovely connection. So that was a fun last weekend. When I went to the watch party at Acorns and Threads, my friend Julie, who I stitch with regularly, she had gone to Colorado to visit family, and was where the Colorado cross stitch was, and brought me back some fun patterns from there. I'm gonna try this one on 56 count just to see how tiny it ends up being. But these are all the Colorado cross stitchers patterns. So those are going to be fun to enjoy. Okay, full disclosure here. I did not get my November, and now we're into December. I did not get my November pillow done. This is where I'm at on that. So now I have a little bit of a hustle this month to do November and December's. Now, I didn't start until March, so I still have January and February outlying there. And then I decided that I'm going to make them into little pillows, because I have a bowl down in my living room, a brass bowl that was gifted to my father when from the minister of my mother's church when they were getting married. And so it's a nice heavy brass bowl that I think will be lovely with all those pillows. Okay, let me think. This month, G came in a little while ago. He says, you seem a little bit like feverish, and I said, well, I've been looking for stuff, straightening up stuff, and feeling overwhelmed by stuff. And so I need to go watch the Comfort Stitcher, because I need to take a deep breath. And like one of the rooms at the Jingle Ball was for monogamous stitcher. I was afraid to go in that room, because I thought they might be able to smell that I wasn't a monogamous stitcher. I wonder what that would be like. I wonder what that would be like to have total commitment and one project at a time. Oh man, I don't know, it sounds lovely. Whether it can be achieved in this world, I don't know. With that said, what is coming up here in December? I started a new Prairie Schooler Santa. That's downstairs in my living room where I stitch Prairie Schooler Santas. This is how I control my world. I did not realize that I have OCD tendencies until one of my girlfriends who was visiting, we got up in the morning and we were having coffee in the living room, and I jumped up and I said, oh, I forgot. And as I was leaving, she said, what did she forget? And G said, oh, she has to light the candles in the morning. And I do. I have certain patterns that ground my day. And one of them is when G and I are having our morning coffee in the living room, that I light my candles. And that only happens in the late fall, winter. And then I stitch on my Prairie Schooler Santa. And once I do the one thread, I sync the next thread for the next day. And then I play Wordle, strands, connections, and spelling bee. And then the rest of the day feels like it's on the path. Yeah, it feels like it's on the path. Everything's going to go. Everything is got cake, you know. And so, I don't know, maybe some of you might want to try that just as a way to anchor yourself for the day. With December, you know, it creates a whole lot of flexibility. One needs flexibility, yeah. But I know I have 2 projects that I'm going to be starting this month. And the first one will be Put a Bird on It. It is a stitch along, or for some of us, a start along. And they have it divided up on, if you join the Facebook group for the Sunshine Stitchers, they will have the chart divided up, and when you finish one section, you go on to the next. I'm not going to be able to do that. That isn't how my brain works. I have to stitch in a certain pattern. It's, you know, we all have our thing, and I'm okay with my thing. But I am going to do the stitch along with them. And so Modern Folk Embroidery, Put a Bird on It. I love a good Quaker. And Acorns and Threads got the charts in. And Janine is also doing it. And so is Sarah. I mean, yeah. And I will be doing it on Cedar River linen because it's one of my favorites. And this is hand dyed in Washington State by Trixie Tricycle. And I'm using Overcast 40 count. I just love that. So I'm using that. And as I showed you before, Mrs. Sadis Silk Oxide. Look at that. Okay, look at this. Look at this. Man, oh man, is that going to be pretty. So that starts on the 15th. Very much looking forward to that. And this month always brings, well, from a lot of people, it brings a lot of memories and thoughts about family members that are here or not here any longer. And for me, it's a big month because I no longer have either of my parents. In fact, my aunt, who was my mom was the oldest, and so the next oldest my aunt passed away about 3 weeks ago. And anytime you lose a family member, it makes you think about history and ponder your own fragility and history. It just makes you ponder. And the aunt that passed away, I remember her telling me a story. When my father met my mother, they were actually the first interracial marriage within that particular conflict. And so there was a lot of hoops to happen. There were a lot of hoops that both of them had to jump through. And the process took a long time for the U.S. Army to say yes, that he could marry a native Korean. So my aunt told me that at one point the process was taking so long that my dad's platoon got shipped back to the States, but he had to stay. And so, oh, I'm going to just pause for a minute because I want to show you a picture, okay? Hang on. Poor G, the editing he's going to have to do to this. So, where was I? Okay, so the platoon my dad was in got shipped back to the States, but he stayed because he was in the middle of this paperwork process of trying to get married. And so they didn't know what to do with him. So they put him, now this is back in history, they put him in the Negro platoon. That's what that was called back then. And so that his best friend ultimately ended up his best man. And my mother's maid of honor ended up getting married. And so here's let's see, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it with all the reflection of the lights, but there's my dad and my mom, there's his best man and his best friend and her maid of honor. And yeah, and her dress was silk made out of a parachute. Yeah, it you know, you think about those histories. So I also wanted to, oh, and their anniversary is December 23rd. So I decided I needed a start for them, for the wonderful couple that they were. And yeah, we grew up on the ocean. My mother, Korea is a peninsula basically. And so we ultimately moved from New York, where my dad was born and raised, to California because it was on the ocean. And closer to Korea. My mom used to say New York was so far from Korea. So I'm going to do a stitch on their anniversary, which is December 23rd, and I haven't decided which one I'm going to do, but I'm going to do one of these two because we grew up as a sailing family. And so there's Teresa Kogut. Always can count on her for beautiful charts. And I've got it all, it's all kitted up in this wonderful bag that I had made. And the fabric, Do I have the name of the fabric? Let's see. I have two different kinds of fabric. Oh no, they look the same. This is Treehouse Fiber Arts. Nor'easter. Kind of funny, nor'easter. So that's that will be a start this month also. So put a bird on it, and then my parents' anniversary start. I think I might have reached the end. Yeah. So be sure that you put Daisy Joe in the comments, and I would appreciate very much if you hit the subscribe button. I got several messages that people found out they were no longer subscribed and wonder what had happened to me, and so just hit that subscribe button to make sure, and give us a thumbs up. Yeah, we like it. I like it. Okay, you all take care. I don't know if I will be back. Yeah, I'll be back before Christmas. Yeah, I'll be back. I'll try real hard to be back before Christmas. And we'll see you in the next Stitch Roadies. Take care. And you know, I love you guys.